good to be here with you on this episode of Transforming Agriculture in Nigeria. As always, we follow events in the agricultural sector and bring you details of strides as they unfold. Tonight, we talk about fish. Fishing is perhaps one activity that is as old as humanity itself. As the world evolved, fishing methods and techniques have also evolved, but fish has remained the same. That highly nutritious seafood rich in protein and vitamins, which has remained an important side meal for thousands of years. As a regulator and implementer, the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development has a plan for fishing. One that will translate into a subsector that is sustainable, profitable, and can sustain the local and export needs of Nigeria. But before we go into details, we'll see what the ministry has been up to as contained in their diary. Welcome on board. Tonight, Ministry of Agriculture moves to revitalize extension services in Nigeria. Elsewhere, Nonono calls for a halt in antimicrobial abuse.
The Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development has held a stakeholder sensitization workshop in a bid to develop and perfect policies towards revitalizing extension service delivery in Nigeria. The event, which had the theme Catalyzing Effective Agricultural Extension Service Delivery at the Grassroots, held recently at the NAF Conference Center in Abuja. In his speech, Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development Muhammad Sabo Nanuno, represented by the Director of Extension Services, Engineer Frank Kudla, set the agenda which formed the basis for further deliberations.
The revitalization of the national extension system comes as veritable means to further boost our efforts. As I welcome you to the very important meeting, I wish to set the agenda for revitalization of the national extension system by putting forward these issues for robust discussion. 1. Redefining of the roles and responsibilities of 3 tiers of government, that is federal, state, and local government, in agricultural extension service and establishment of evaluation strategy with possible reprisal for actors that fails in their responsibilities in order to ensure accountability and commitment.
Other items on the agenda include recommending a favorable policy environment for active private sector investments in the management, operation and funding of extension service delivery to support government efforts. Recommending incentive that will foster and encourage the mobilization and development of farmer groups around farm clusters to enhance agricultural extension service delivery to them, and bringing up innovations that will encourage aggressive training of necessary manpower and ensuring professionalism in agricultural extension service delivery. A lead paper titled Catalyzing Effective Agricultural Extension Service Delivery at the Grassroots in Nigeria was delivered by a professor of extension at the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, Akin Omotayo. Other stakeholders at the workshop include the Chairman, Senate Committee on Agriculture, Senator Abdullahi Adamu, Chairman, House Committee on Colleges of Agriculture and Institutions, Honorable Munir Dang Agundi, Coordinator, National Agricultural Foundation of Nigeria, Dr. Samuel Negedu, among others.
Even if our scientists have researched and come up with something that is good for the farmers, without the extension, there is no way we can really understand what it is all about.
We found out that what was on the burner, the front burner of the ministry, is how to get agricultural extension working in Nigeria.
The workshop was organized by the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development with support from National Agricultural Foundation of Nigeria, Alliance for Green Revolution in Africa, AGRA, and the International Food Policy Research Institute, IFPRI. Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development Muhammad Sabo Nanono has called on farmers in the country to desist from abuse of antimicrobial drugs in order to prevent resistance, which can lead to serious consequences for humans and livestock. The minister was speaking during the flag-off of the country's World Antimicrobial Awareness Week recently in Abuja. The event was organized in collaboration with the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, and the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, to enlighten the public on the dangers of antimicrobial resistance on humans and livestock. Nonono said that antimicrobial resistance is one of the world's greatest threats to food security globally.
AMR is one health issue that must be tackled at the human, animal and environmental interface. Today I call on all of us to join this campaign to stop the overuse and the misuse of antibiotics. As government and policy maker, we would like to take the leadership in getting the right policy in place to ensure that antibiotics are not misused or overused.
FAO and WHO estimate that currently at least 700,000 people die globally every year due to drug-resistant diseases.
It is our responsibility to raise awareness on AMR in our communities, places of worship, families, and the society at large.
The FAO and World Health Organization estimate that the use of antimicrobials as growth agent in livestock will double by 2030 due to increasing demand for livestock. This calls for consolidation of efforts and strict implementation of restriction laws by agencies like NAFDAC to prevent consequences in the future.
Nigeria is blessed with countless water bodies flowing through the north and south, from rivers, streams and lagoons to the Atlantic Ocean bordering several states in southern Nigeria. This also means a thriving fishing industry. However, local production is yet to take care of local demand for fish in Nigeria, leading to huge imports to make up for the shortfall in domestic production. But in the last 2 decades, there has been a surge in aquaculture across the country, a practice the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development is encouraging as a sustainable way to bridge the deficit and surpass local demand in order to cater for the huge international market. We'll find out the current situation in the country and how the ministry is looking to develop the subsector in our next segment, Records of the FDA. Please stay with us.
My grandfather was a fisherman, even his father, also my father too. I was born into the business. No, fishing is very good business when you calm down, but people look down on it.
This has been the practice for thousands of years, sailing into the waters and casting a fishing net or letting down a hook laced with a fishing bait by the shores. Mackerel, sardine, tilapia, catfish and croaker are some of the most common species in Nigeria. But this activity has, however, remained at the artisanal level. But this is only a fraction of the fishing sector in Nigeria. As the Director of Fisheries and Aquaculture in the Ministry explains, the department is charged with a broad mandate.
The aim of the department is to create wealth, employment generation, job creation, wealth creation, and also to conserve the marine environment.
Within the artisanal subsector, oftentimes involving one or two individuals using different methods to fish, there are specific activities the ministry carries out. These include updating and enforcing fisheries laws and regulations, conservation, judicious exploitation and management of fisheries resources across the country, development and modernization of the means of production, processing, storage and marketing, improvement of quality of life in fishing villages and communities, including the provision of infrastructure like landing jetties, potable water, electricity, and so on, provision of fishing inputs to register fishermen cooperative societies and groups, promotion of gender interests, women and youths in fishing communities, and ensuring the implementation of the FAO Code of Conduct for Responsibilities. The ministry is also on the lookout for fishermen who engage in harmful fishing practices.
Most of these farmers use obnoxious methods of fishing. So we try to see how we can train them on the code of conduct for responsible fisheries. So that even the method they are using, some of them even use up to dynamite and chemicals, to fish. So we have to really go into training of them and also register their boats, because a lot of them do a lot of things that are not acceptable in the industry.
At the moment, total demand for fish in the country is around 3.6 million metric tons per year. In 2020, estimated local production is 1.1 million metric tons. The balance of 2.5 million metric tons is covered by imports, a situation the ministry says has to change. To bridge this gap, the ministry is encouraging aquaculture, or what is also known as fish farming, to boost fish production in the country. This involves fish rearing in controlled environment at various capacities across the country. A lot of attention and support is being given by the ministry in the area of training and capacity building. Empowering fish farmers to produce their own feed is another way government is supporting them.
Most of the feed being used in Nigeria are imported because of the fact that we have to import our fish meal. So what we do as a department is to try and see how we can develop indigenous technologies, to go into fish feed production. By doing that, we also give them 1 ton fish meal. And in this year, we have given up to, the 6 political zones, they are giving at least 1, and also train the farmers how to use the fish meal.
And even if Nigerians must import fish, it must be done sustainably with the future in mind. The ministry is encouraging large-scale importers to begin the process of backward integration by establishing big fish farms and begin local production in a bid to gradually reduce importation and create wealth and employment in the country. In all of these, one area that is yet to fully come into play is industrial fisheries, the use of large fishing vessels for large-scale fishing. This year alone, the ministry has approved and licensed 143 trawlers to go into industrial fishing and shrimping. It is on record that Nigeria has the best shrimps in the world. Transponders have also been placed on these vessels to limit their activities within 5 and 15 nautical miles and stay clear of artisanal fishing territories. As for deep-sea fishing, only 2 companies have applied for a license so far. This is certainly a far cry if Nigeria wishes to exploit the deep oceans for tasty tunas and other big fish species gracing the country's waters.
It is interesting to see that the ministry is not relenting to bring about food sufficiency, even with commodities like fish. In our next segment, Partnership for Development, we'll see some operators of fish farms from different parts of the country, how they go about their production methods and techniques, as well as what the future holds for aquaculture in Nigeria. Don't go away.
We try to avoid any chemical form of fertilizer or anything.
So from this place, what we learn here, that is what we take to our various schools.
I hope you are following the normal procedure of feeding.
We'll be fascinated seeing things moving.
Agric Matters is a farm based in Osun State. Here, several activities are carried out to cater for the food needs of Nigerians. One aspect of farming considered a priority by the company is fish farming, otherwise known as aquaculture. Fish farming in Nigeria is one of the country's lucrative agro-businesses, where income is made on a consistent basis. As a system, it takes away the challenge of absent water bodies in parts of the country, as one can simply fill up a pond, concrete pool, or large polythene room with water and grow different species of fish like catfish and tilapia, among others. This particular company has been in fish farming for about 15 years. For them, it goes beyond farming, as they are involved in other aspects of the value chain, including processing with the use of smoking kilns.
My experience on this processing thing has been a very great one, because now I don't sell my fish in fresh anymore. I just raise the fish to the smoking size and I smoke them. It's much more profitable than selling them fresh. That's number one. I still can sell the oil. That one still bring money.
Partnering with agencies of government like the Nigeria Stored Products Research Institute and SPRI, this fish farmer is also better able to process fish in a healthy manner.
So their own oven, you can extract your oil. The way they build it, you can all the oil that is coming out of your fish, you can still extract them. At the same time, your fish will still be as fresh as anyone.
One aspect of their fish farming business that is worthy of note is the rearing unit, using what we may call artificial insemination in general terms. In Nasarawa, Rayfield Farms is also engaged in this method of production.
Here where we are is our hatchery section, and outside we call it the grow out section. We produce here and transfer them outside. When I talk about production, we reproduce, we make the female reproduce her younger ones. Biology call it the offspring, we call it the fries. So as you can see here, we produce our fries, rear them for 8 weeks and then transfer them outside. Once they are 8 weeks, we call them the standard fingerlings. Then we transfer them outside.
The essence of such breeding is to increase production rate. Also, these offspring are sold to other fish farmers, either as fries or as juveniles. Fish farming is a knowledge-based sector. Understanding this fact, government is not relenting in taking crucial knowledge to fish farmers. At this small-scale fish farm in Gwagwalada, the Federal Capital Territory, an extension worker attached to the FCT Agricultural Development Project ADP is carrying out a routine check. Best practices for fish farming involve a number of factors, from water type, water level, feeding procedure, and so on.
In fisheries, we look for viable fish seeds
either fingerlings or juvenile, the one that will grow very fast, and then give it to the farmers. Then we teach them, train them on how to culture this fish, you know, with time. We don't advise the farmers to use chlorinated water because it's a chemical. It's injurious to the fish, especially when they are small.
There is also the need to ensure that the pond is clean at all times, as the survival of the fish depends on it. Ubeze Ngozi, the fish farmer here, is one of many other fish farmers across the country who are getting the attention of government as they continue to play their own part in a bid to boost fish production in Nigeria.
The next time you order for that point and kill at your favorite bar or restaurant, you should remember this is one viable business you can get into to make some income for yourself as well as create wealth and jobs for young people. Plus, there is a lot more you can do along the value chain, like smoking and marketing. Transforming Agriculture in Nigeria continues with Farmers Speak as we hear what this farmer has to say.
In terms of feeding the fish, it's not really easy because price is always skyrocketing. It's growing up every day. Sometimes, because of the experience we now have, we used to buy up to 3 or 4 bags down. Like the initial time when we started, maybe you just buy one, thinking the market is ready for you, and the fish are not waiting. When that one finished, you get to the market, they said no feed. You'll be baffled. But because of the experience we now have, we now buy about 4 or 3 bags down, then we started using it. But all the same, where you see the price today, you go back tomorrow, the price will go up.
Ginger is well known as a food spice across the world. It is the underground rhizome of a perennial tropical crop called ginger plant, Zingiber officinale. It is valued in medicine as a carminative and stimulant of the gastrointestinal tract. Dry ginger is used for the manufacture of oil, oleoresin, essence, soft drink, non-alcoholic beverages, and vitamized effervescent drinks. In Nigeria, 2 commercial varieties are common. The yellow ginger variety with a bold yellow rhizome flesh, which is stout with short internodes, and the black ginger variety with a dull grey colored rhizome. Ginger is a native plant of Southeastern Asia, but over centuries has been introduced to various parts of the world like the Caribbean, America, and Africa. In Nigeria, ginger is not only popular, but is in very high demand. Going by statistics, Nigeria exports the majority of its ginger, with figures hovering around 90%. The nation consumes only about 10% of its output, making her the biggest exporter of ginger in Africa and the 3rd largest exporter of ginger in the world after China and India. Every year, Nigeria's average production volume is put at 31 million metric tons. There is still a huge international demand to be met. In 2019 alone, Nigerian exporters earned $10.4 million from the exportation of ginger. This comes as farmers say they were doubling production in 2020 to tap into the $3 billion global ginger market. The top 5 ginger producing states in Nigeria are Kaduna, Bauchi, Benue, Gombe, and Nasarawa.
The potential is huge. Nigeria is yet to tap into half of the numerous fish species scattered all over its several water bodies. with policy actions and steps by the ministry to enhance capacity for aquaculturists and artisanal fishermen and encourage private businesses to venture into uncharted waters, there is hope that the country may in the near future make up for its deficit of almost 1.5 million metric tons. If you do well to join us same time next week, we'll have more stories to tell and more commodities to explore. I'll see you then. Bye for now.